God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality, morality with unity. To thrive and sustain integrity, longevity. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality, morality with unity. Thrive and sustain integrity, longevity on earth as it is in heaven. We are art and no difference and know who you are for the don't hype and hypocrisy for the considering uncommon conditions and controlling confessions and conflict. We conceded to complex that way of life is decidedly rather upon done. Opposed most importantly animals in the garden, space and energy, the spirit seeking harmony through the love and intentions and innovative, inventive, Christian and the Son and the anointing. Crosses appointed honor and merit. Purity to depart blind seasons, season transatlantic. Atlantis, the removing of African and God within our sacred body. The indigenous, the originous virgins, not Virgo, vigorous and vigilantes. Vitalism, vitalizing, imperialism, committed beyond communism. The segregation of communities and the commencing of the unity's divine intentions. Not hurt self or others for love of self and most high creator and the source of the sun. The light was the same self to seed and dear. For the sighted, for the source behind the forehead, for the forefathers from the past and empires, 2 generations and not be lost or founded, rather than found dead. Seeking gets a life like John Jackson, the man of prophecy, the standard for the proposed propaganda for the genesis of the system of Sims Hales, and the mind that institutionalized the criminate the fate of those behind, taking away the brain cells, rares, arrests and transgressions include aggressive acts in the course to converted or corrupt disruption, the distractions to attract the lack of focus for the focus pales and focus in that prevent the liberation and the independence and the freeing and the demeaning and the exploitations of the notion into relation, the reasons of religion and realignment of the meaning of the applies, the application to light, the righteousness of the humankind, the question about the current events, currency and dependence on the substance of your ignorance and your oxymorotic exposure to your martyrs and evolving the daughters. Concepts it reveals, revolution and constitution. What are you into if it's not intuitive and the power in numbers and one and lesser than intuitive and the additives and that's attract the attractions of ignorance and other benevolence for the violence and liars stand up on the lie down but this is not this land if it's ours and have no rights but be righteousness and conducted on it like you get one for all and we are all developing contractions. We're all in a complete circle for the cipher circumference without fences there is no need for the defense. And senses is a sense in the unison for the undivided attention and attracted to your attributes, the retribution of rebuttals. More for this is not the beef. Rose, rising from the concrete, rising again, returning, return. Boastful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality, morality with unity. Thrive and sustain integrity, longevity on earth as it is in heaven. We are art and no difference and know who you are for the don't hype and hypocrisy for the considering uncommon conditions and controlling confessions and conflict. We conceded to complex that way of life is decidedly rather upon done. Opposed most importantly animals in the garden, space and energy, the spirit seeking harmony through the love and intentions and innovative, the inventive, Christian and the Son and the anointing. Crosses appointed honor and merit. Purity to depart blind seasons, season transatlantic. Atlantis, the removing of African and God within our sacred body. The indigenous for the originous virgins, not Virgo, vigorous and vigilantes. Vitalism, vitalizing, imperialism, committed beyond communism. The segregation of communities and the commencing of the unity's divine intentions. Not hurt self or others for love. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality, morality with unity. Thrive and sustain integrity, longevity on earth as it is in heaven. We are art and no difference and know who you are, but don't hype hypocrisy for the considering the common conditions and controlling confessions and conflict. We conceded to complex that way of life is decidedly rather upon none. Opposed most importantly animals in the garden, space and energy, the spirit seeking harmony through the love and intentions of the innovative, inventive, Christian and the Son and the anointing. Crosses appointed honor and merit. Purities to depart blind seasons, season transatlantic. Atlantis, the removing of Africa and God within our sacred body. The indigenous with the originous virgins, not Virgo or vigorous and vigilantes. Fatalism, vitalizing, imperialism, committed beyond communism. The segregation of communities and the commencing of the unity's divine intentions. Not hurt self or others for love of self and most high creator and the source of the sun. The light was the same self to seed and dear. For the sighted, for the source behind the forehead, for the forefathers from past and empires, 2 generations and not be lost or founded, rather than found dead. Seeking gets a life like John Jackson, the man of prophecy, the standard for the proposed propaganda for the genesis, the system of Sims, Hales, and the mind that institutionalized and criminate the fate of those behind, taking away the brain cells, rares, arrests and transgressions of greed, aggressive acts in the course, the courtship for the converted or corrupt, disruption and distractions to attract the lack of focus for the hocus pales and focus and that prevent the liberation and independence and the freedom under the meaning and the exploitations of a notion into a nation, the regions of religion and realignment of the meaning and the application to like righteousness of the humankind, the question about the current events, currency, independence, and substance, and your ignorance, and your oxymoronic exposure to your mothers and evolving daughters, concepts and fields, revolution and constitution. What are you into if it's not intuitive in the power and numbers and one and lesser than intuitive in the additives and that's subtracted attractions of ignorance and other benevolence for the liars and liars stand upon the lie down, but this is not this land if it's ours and have no rights but be righteousness and conducted on it like you one for all and we are all developing contractions. We're all in a complete circle for the cipher circumference without fences. There's no need for the defense. And senses is a sense in the unison for the undivided attention and attracted in your attributes to the retribution and rebuttals. More for this is not to be rose or rising from the concrete, rising again, returning, returned. Fulfilling gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality, morality with the unity, with the thrive and sustain integrity, longevity on earth as it is in heaven. We are art and no difference and know who you are for the don't hype the hypocrisy with the considering and common conditions and controlling confessions and conflict. We get seated and complex that way of life is decided rather upon none opposed most borderly animals in the garden space and energy, the spirit seeking harmony through the love and intentions and the innovative inventive Krishna the sun and the anointing crosses appointed honor and merit purities is departed blind season transatlantic Atlantis the removing of Africa and God within our sacred body of the indigenous for the originous virgins not verbal vigorous and vigilantes fatalism vitalizing imperialism committed communism and the segregation of communities and the commencing of the unity's divine intentions not hurt self or others for love of self and most high creator and the source of the sun the light was the same self to seed and dear for the sighted for the source behind the forehead for the forefathers from past and empires 2 generations and not be lost or founded rather than found dead seeking gets a life like John Jackson the man of prophecy to stand before the proposed propaganda for the genesis of the system of sin
all the resources we need we are rich in spirituality morality with the unity with the thrive and sustain integrity longevity on earth as it is in heaven we are art no difference in who you are for the don't hype the hypocrisy with the considering the common conditions and controlling confessions and conflict seated and complex that way of life is decided and rather upon none opposed to most of the orderly animals in the garden space and energy and the spirit seeking harmony through the love and intentions and the innovative inventive Krishna the sun and the anointing crosses appointed honor and merit purities to depart blind season transit God is resourceful and God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality, morality with the unity, with the thrive and sustain integrity, longevity on earth as it is in heaven. We are art and no difference and know who you are for the don't hype the hypocrisy with the considering and common conditions and controlling confessions and conflict. We get seated and complex that way of life is decided rather upon none opposed to most borderly animals in the garden space and energy of the spirit seeking harmony through the love and intentions and the innovative inventive Krishna the sun and the anointing crosses appointed honor and merit purities to depart blind season transatlantic Atlantis the removing of Africa and God within our sacred body of the indigenous for the originous virgins not Virgo or vigorous and vigilantes fatalism vitalizing imperialism committed communism and the segregation of communities and the commencing of the unity's divine intentions not hurt self or others for love of self and most high creator and the source of the sun the light was the same self to seed and dear for the sighted for the source behind the forehead for the forefathers from past and empires 2 generations and not be lost or founded rather than found dead seeking just a life like John Jackson the man of prophecy to stand before the proposed propaganda for the genesis of the system of Sims Hales and the mind that institutionalized and criminate the fate of those behind taking away their brain cells rares
God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality, morality with the unity, with the thrive and sustain integrity. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality and morality. With unity we thrive, sustain integrity and longevity on earth as in heaven. We are art, and of no difference if you know who you are. Don't hype the hypocrisy, considering common conditions of control of confessions and conflict. We conceited with the complex, that way life is the CR that they rather upon down upon. Most importantly, animals in the garden, space and energy, the spirit, seeking harmony through love and intentions and innovative and inventive. Krishna, the sun, anointing the cross is appointed to honor to the merit and purity departed from the blind to see, as seas is transatlantic for the Atlantis. The moving of Africa and God within our sacred body of indigenous origin to be virgins, not Virgo. We're vigorous and vigilantes and vigilance. Vitalism, imperialism. Resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality and morality. With unity we thrive, sustain integrity and longevity on earth as in heaven. We are art, and of no difference if you know who you are. Don't hype the hypocrisy, considering common conditions of control of confessions and conflict. We conceited with the complex, that way life is the CR that they were rather upon done upon. Most importantly, animals in the garden, space and energy, the spirit, seeking harmony through love and intentions and innovative and inventive. Krishna, the sun, anointing a cross is appointed to honor to the merit and purity departed from the blind to see, as seas is transatlantic for the Atlantis. The moving of Africa and God within our sacred body of indigenous origin to be virgins, not Virgo. We're vigorous and vigilantes and vigilance. Vitalism, imperialism, and communism, and the segregation of communities. The commencing of unity is divine intentions, not to hurt self or for others to love of self and most high creator for the source of the sun. Light will sustain. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality and morality. With unity we thrive, sustain integrity and longevity on earth as in heaven. We are art, and no difference if you know who you are. Don't hype the hypocrisy, considering common conditions of control, confessions and conflict. Conceited with the complex, that way life is the CR that we rather upon done. Most importantly, animals in the garden, space and energy, the spirit, seeking harmony through love and intentions and innovative and inventive. Krishna, the sun, anointing the cross is appointed to honor to the merit and purity departed from the blind to see, as seas is transatlantic for the Atlantis. Moving of Africa and God within our sacred body of indigenous origin to be virgins, not Virgo. Vigorous and vigilantes and vigilance. Vitalism, imperialism, and communism, and the segregation of communities. The commencing of unity is divine intentions, not to hurt self or for others to love of self and most high creator for the source of the sun. Light will sustain. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality and morality. With unity we thrive, sustain integrity and longevity on earth as in heaven. We are art. God is resourceful and gives us all the resources we need. We are rich in spirituality and morality. With unity we thrive, sustain integrity and longevity on earth as in heaven. We are art, and of no difference if you know who you are. Don't hype the hypocrisy, considering common conditions and control of confessions and conflict. We conceited with the complex, that way life is to see already rather upon, done upon. Most importantly, animals in the garden, the space and energy of the spirit, seeking harmony through love and intentions and innovative and inventive. Krishna, the sun, anointing a cross as a pointer to honor to the merit and purity departed from the blind to see, as seas is transatlantic from the Atlantis. Music of Africa and God within our sacred body of indigenous origin, to be virgins, not fertile, vigorous vigilantes and vigilance. Vitalism, imperialism, and communism, and the segregation of communities, the commencing of unity is divine intentions, not to hurt self or for others, to love yourself and Most High Creator for the source of the sun. Light will sustain. God is resourceful and beautiful. Seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost and found, mother rather saying self to seed and deer, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost or found, mother rather sustain self, deceived, endeared, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost or found, mother rather sustain self, deceived, endeared, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost or found, mother rather sustain self, deceived, endeared, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost or found, mother rather sustain self, deceived, endeared, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost or found, mother rather sustain self, deceived, endeared, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost or found, mother rather sustain self, deceived, endeared, decided for the sword behind foreheads and forefathers, whose past empires, generations to be lost or found, mother rather sustain self, deceived, endeared, decided for the sword behind foreheads